It's normal mix up. It happens all the time. Don't worry. So we now go back to a phone link. Talk to Simon. Simon, if you can hear me, what has happened to the national team, Shujaa 7th national team that has left the country last night for Dubai before they head to Cape Town?
Mogire, I would say I don't have the details exactly. I'm probably just on the periphery like you are. But I would just say as a coach, this is a very unfortunate situation, and I would not wish any coach in such a situation. For Shujaa, well, the problems were from even the Hong Kong leg. The coach had even, I think, mentioned that he had gone for, months without, I think 2 months without salary, but he's still maintained, he's been around, but the scenario is dire. That's an atmosphere where you are hoping your players can keep focused with the objectives you laid for them, but when they have all this their personal lives in a bit of the chaos, they will not concentrate, and the objectives will definitely not be met. So I wouldn't have the exact details, but I would say, I saw the Twitter handle that was giving us information to go to the Mchanga. I would just say it's unfortunate that the players themselves are the ones who are fundraising. In my opinion, this should have been handled probably from the secretariat or from the office, not the players, so they maintain their focus with the job at hand. We are now probably, I would say, technically, the danger is still there. Remember, there is going to be demotion at the end of the series. Mogire?
Simon, you've been a coach for long, and you know the officials. These are the same people who have been in rugby for the longest time, and clearly whatever has happened here is not the first time. Just a week ago, the national 15s team, that is Simbas, were complaining also that they were not going to play Hong Kong if they don't get their allowances. That thing was downplayed, and now it's coming up on Shujaa as well. This is a sign, a clear sign. If indeed the government has goodwill of supporting the national team, then they should have done so. And why have they not done so if they want to support? Because it's not lack of money, because we have the sports fund which supposed to support sports or national teams going out on assignment. And also, if the problem is the office, why do you have people who have problems in office anyway? They should go home. Because this is a shame that a national team is fundraising on Twitter, and they're not doing this for themselves, by the way. They're doing it for the country.
I hear you, Mogire. I would not really be in a position to speak about whoever is in office, but I would look back and say, in reality, government has stepped in here and there, but the national team has survived a lot more, I believe, from the corporate assistance. If you remember the Simbas, talking about the strike, I believe they got through, somebody got through, and I think, hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Continue.
I'm saying the Simbas got through, someone stepped up and I think put in some money for them. That's why they're able to come in for that last match. And I think they gave their hearts out, the score notwithstanding. But that's not a situation you want to have every now and then. And you can see immediately after that last match, the coach just pulled out his resignation. I believe that is probably a result of the many negative things that have gone through. And key amongst them is that we do not have funds. All this, I think, is blossoming or coming out in the last few years. I think the biggest one was when we had the fiasco in France. I think that's where our problems really lie. The people would have goodwill and give us money before. I think that's where they take themselves with. They are probably finding rugby a risk at the moment. We have to now find ways and means to get them back on board. About government, I would say we have now a new government in place. Just 3 months or so in the job. Probably after the minister has spoken, because I understand they're probably assembling something for today. After they've spoken, we'll probably have a clearer view of how they want to intervene and how they want to rescue our national Shujaa.
My last question to you before I let you go, Simon. I'm asking this. As a coach, you've been in rugby for so long, and you know these players. Some of these players who've left for Dubai and they're going also for Cape Town, they are your players. Some of them, you've trained them. How do you inspire or motivate a young player of now that they will enjoy the fruits of their hard work in the national team when this is happening?
So it's a very difficult situation. I've worked with some of these guys when probably they were still schoolboys or much younger. The responsibility levels were not as they are now. Now you're talking about someone who probably has a family, probably has a bigger, people depend on him in the larger family. So the responsibilities are the ones that guide their day to day. So I would say now it's harder to get him to achieve than that time. That time there was a lot more, probably you could prevail on them to put in a lot more heart. But now with the prevailing situation, it's hard, especially when you're asking them to be more so quasi-professional and not just amateur. Like my time, it was basically all amateur. People walk in and it's very voluntary. It's easier to get boys to play from the heart.
Thank you so much, Simon Kachiri. This is a coach from Northern Suburbs. I've encountered him for so long, and he knows rugby inside out. He knows where the problem is. He's trying to explain to us what's happening. But later on today, at exactly 12 p.m., the sports CA Sababu Namambo will be addressing the same issue at his offices along community in Nairobi. We'll be waiting to see what he says about this. It's clearly a big shame to have a national team on Twitter doing mchanga to support themselves to go represent their country, while the country itself has nothing to say about it. Let's listen and wait to see what the sports CS says. Now,